All right, good Thursday morning. It is April 17th, 2025, and you're listening to PNW Today streaming on WJOB and JED TV. This is Kale Wilk, the Communication Specialist in the Office of Marketing Communications at Purdue Northwest, and I am so thrilled with the topic that we have on deck because I get to be joined by some of my lovely colleagues from the Division of Institutional Advancement at PNW. Shout out for IA. So, joining me today, I'm just going to go down the line here. We have Mackenzie Koval, who is an annual fund and donor communications coordinator in our office. Mackenzie, thank you so much
Thank
for being
you.
here.
So glad
And
to be here.
and also gotta say, Mackenzie, a proud PNW alumna, of course.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We have Natalie Connors, Executive Director of Corporate Relations and Development Operations, also proud PNW alumna. Natalie, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good, thank you.
Excellent. And last but not least, we have Tracy McElvery, who is our Director of Donor Relations and Development Operations in IA. Tracy, thank you so much
Good
for being
morning.
here. So before we dive into our topic, and I might have neglected to say it, we're going to be talking about Day of Giving. If it didn't become evident by some of the swag that we got on, that is, one of our great spring events that we have to be able to support PNW students to help them power onward. And my wonderful colleagues in IA are going to be able to help share all the details to look forward to for that event. But first, let me just go ahead and run down just a few laundry list items of other events that we have happening. So for today, also occurring, we have our Days of Discovery Research Symposium for students. It's always a great opportunity for our campus community to be able to showcase some of the different research opportunities and activities that they've been doing throughout the academic year. So we got a couple poster sessions that are going to be happening. We have a keynote speaker visiting from the University of Illinois at Chicago. And if anyone wants to come out, it's free to be able to attend pnw.edu/discover. Coming up during the following week. If you are a prospective student or have a family that is interested in learning more about PNW, you can definitely come and check out our Preview PNW event. It's free to be able to attend. That's going to be on Saturday, April 26th, starting at 8:30 a.m. And it's always a really great opportunity to be able to come out because you can learn about the academic programs that PNW has, the admissions process, how to pay for college, scholarships, and much more. The student life, student housing, campus life. So again, pnw.edu/preview. That's the URL to go and visit. And of course, we always love being able to shout out our friends in athletics. So a few good games are going to be on the docket. If you want to come out and see PNW women's softball, they are going to be hosting Roosevelt this Saturday, April 19th, for a doubleheader. Those games are going to be at 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. And you can also catch PNW baseball. They're going to be having a few different opponents they're going to be hosting. So doubleheader on April 22nd against the University of Indianapolis, and a series against Grand Valley State from April 25th through April 27th. If you want to find out all the information on those games, pnwathletics.com, that's the place to go. And just one last shout out that I want to be able to give, since I do have my IA colleagues here. Recently, we did just celebrate our recent inductees for the PNW Alumni Hall of Fame. So just want to give just a quick shout out to our most recent inductees, which includes Nicole Kupchak and Mason Mazensky, as well as a few of our other winners for the expanded award categories, including Rick Kalinsky, Ayanna Clark, and of course PNW's very own and wonderful Debbie Bachman. So those are just a quick laundry list of items that I wanted to go over. And just to review, in case anybody is just tuning in, we are talking about all things PNW Day of Giving. And so for my colleagues that I've got in from our donor and development relations group, they're going to be able to help share some of the context for what Day of Giving is about and how you can participate and help support gifts for PNW students that help them power onward to their degrees. So, as a starting point, let's run down the basics. What is PNW Day of Giving all about?
I guess I'll go. I'll take
we're
the
gonna we're
first
gonna tee up
question. We'll just
Mackenzie.
go down the line. So PNW Day of Giving is our 24-hour largest fundraising event that we have on campus, and it is for everyone, friends, alumni, community members, parents, grandparents, anybody can participate in Day of Giving. Even our students, they do a lot to participate and have fun on campus, and some of them even give back and donate. But this is a day where we come together as a campus to stand behind our students and show that we support them, and that we know all together is how we are going to make an impact to change students' lives, which is the big theme for this year's Day of Giving, and kind of the theme that we've been celebrating all year, really around campus. So um, that I think might be it in a nutshell.
Well, and Natalie and Tracy, if you'd like to be able to add anything to that too, you're absolutely welcome to.
Sure. Beyond supporting the students and their endeavors and reaching their academic goals, Day of Giving is also a great way to support athletics, competition teams, student organizations, programmatic support, and strategic priorities of the institution. So Day of Giving is really where we all come together as a community and philanthropically support our institution.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
it's actually really neat to see it from the students' perspective. Their eyes and their faces just light up in the amazement that there are so many people supporting them, and I think it really helps to, keep their journey moving forward as well.
absolutely. Well, and one of the interesting things for this year, and so we're all coordinated with our swag, and I'll see if I can help show it with if I turn around for the camera here, but we have our slogan, "Changing students' lives starts with us." So help explain a little bit about what that message conveys for our audiences.
I think we we as a division really spent a lot of time coming up with this tagline. I'm telling you ours, but I think what it really conveys is the work that everyone on our campuses does every day to support students in their journey. As citizens of Northwest Indiana, and their pursuit of their academic goals, and their longevity to give back to the community and to the region. And so it really encompasses everybody. It's not something that just faculty do. It's what our colleagues here do. It's what Kale does in his communications to the media. It's our athletics teams. It's really truly, I mean, even the grounds folks who keep our campuses so beautiful, they change students' lives. They are all actively a part of making sure that the students of Purdue University Northwest are propelled forward in their dreams and their pursuit of their future.
Absolutely, and I appreciate your description for that, and I think it's really true because, certainly with that sentiment, and really I think anybody who comes on the show and talks about their experiences at Purdue Northwest, whether that's a student or faculty or staff, they really do like to emphasize the relationships that we build with each other on campus, and just how impactful and meaningful that those are for just really helping give students that extra, when we say, for lack of a better phrase, that extra oomph, that extra energy and support to be able to power onward to their degrees. So, because I do love being able to shout out URLs, I do have a note here because got to shout out early and often. So, when we're looking ahead at Day of Giving, what is the best website that people can go ahead and visit to start learning more information? Kenzie, I'm going to tee you up for this.
DayOfGiving.pnw.edu.
All
It's
right.
very short and sweet. Or if you just look up PNW Day of Giving, you click on that first one, and it is it's the link you want to go to.
All right, excellent. And so when somebody visits that website, what are some of the different features that they're going to see when they visit there?
Well, when they visit that website, they're going to see who's participating. So all the areas that PNW is fundraising for. So all of our colleges, our career center, Gabus, Sinai. So there's many areas that the campus community has set forward that we need support for. And then if you click into these areas, you'll see why. A fun description of maybe why they need their support and what their priority initiatives are for fundraising. And some other fun pieces you're going to see on there as well are social media feeds. And you're going to see the wonderful areas that need your support and their fun, creative posts with students. And that's really my favorite tab on there, is to see how creative everyone is getting. But on the website, it's really simple to navigate, and it's really easy to give when you get there.
And I would add to that that, it's also a friendly competition, as the units that participate in Day of Giving, they're competing for, who comes out on top on the leaderboard. And so, everybody is always looking. We have some bragging rights, so to speak, internally, in terms of the competitions between our participating units. So.
Absolutely. Well, and I'm sure that our director of athletics might be tuning in, and we know how competitive athletics
Let's
likes
go
to get
Pride.
by nature. So yes, exactly to your point, there is definitely some friendly competition that does occur. So I did also just want to be able to ask. So when we're talking about giving gifts for PNW students, how do we conceptualize or define what that means exactly?
That really can be a gift of there are lots of different ways to make it, whether it's online or check, or it can be stocks. It can, there are lots of different ways to approach giving. It can also be gifts in kind, so gifts of donations, and or if you're not in the position, there are also opportunities to get engaged and support PNW.
All right, excellent. And so let's talk a little bit about some of the different student-facing resources that donors' gifts can help support during PNW Day of Giving. So, Mackenzie, you were noting, for example, that there's a number of different funds that people are able to go ahead and choose that they may wish to make a gift to or donate to. But there's a wide range of different things. So this
Yes,
can, like you
there
said,
are.
this can go to student organizations. This could go to scholarships. This could go to resources that help students who are in need, such as those who might be facing food insecurity, such as with the food pantry or our Dean of Students Emergency Fund, for example. So expand a little bit about, this wide range of these different functions and needs that these gifts can help support.
So there are over 100 areas actually where you can support students of from all these ranges that you're describing. A lot of our colleges, of course, have a usually like a scholarship fund. But another big need that we're seeing is an opportunity for students to travel to attend conferences. One of our students who's coming up on here, they had an opportunity to travel abroad for their sport, and those happen kind of quickly. And if you were 20 years old when you remember you were back in school, or even just 20 years old, you're like, could I afford to fly to Italy or even just to travel to a conference? So there's that opportunity that a lot of our colleges and other areas, and even our student orgs, that's a huge thing they're fundraising for. So that's been incredible to see across campus, because it's not only a scholarship opportunity just to help our students attend PNW. It's going further than that. Of they're here, what else can we do to expand on it? And the colleges and the deans and all these areas within the universities, they see that and recognize it, and they want to help these students have such great experiences. So those are other funds that you're going to see on there. I'm trying to think of, I don't have a list of the full student organizations, but I know there are over 40 that you can support. And I can't single one out because then they'll know who's my favorite. But all these student organizations, they are just fundraising and doing incredible things throughout the year. So a lot of them do rely on gifts that come in on Day of Giving to really propel them forward through the rest of the year with wonderful initiatives that they have on campus. Or just like we said, sending out a couple of students to a conference, or to present, or to even travel and represent PNW. So the stories and what we get to hear, we meet with all these areas, we get to understand what they're fundraising for. And they're communicating that on social media. They're communicating that on the leaderboard. And I'm asking to take the time to look at it, read it, because every area's priorities are slightly different, but they're all the same. That they just go back to wanting to support our students.
Absolutely. Natalie and Tracy, if you'd like to add a little bit to that too, you're absolutely welcome to.
I would say the one thing that um, you really when you look at the different areas that you can support our students, it's really about enhancing their experience beyond their classroom. And so the competition teams, which we're always incredibly proud of, our student athletes, which we're always incredibly proud of, even just, student groups that meet maybe to play Dungeons and Dragons, need support, and that's, while it's not enhancing what they're doing outside of the classroom, it's creating a sense of belonging, and that's incredibly important to students, is to feel like they belong and that they have a place. And so read through the descriptions and understand what their priorities are, but the need is there, and the funds that are provided are always put to good use.
I would agree. I think you'd be hard pressed to not find something that maybe you have a personal passion to. But we use a term often of transformative change, and that truly is what we're helping our students to be able to have that experience and to really have that growth, and just really helping to remove one barrier in their life so that they can be a student and experience transformative change.
Absolutely. Well, and so you were mentioning that you get the opportunity, of course, to meet with different students and leaders for organizations throughout the academic year. What are some of the feedback pieces that you hear from them about the support that they receive from different donors? We'll just go down the line again. Mackenzie, I'm going to tee you up first.
Wonderful. We launched our Day of Giving video yesterday, and the students who are in it have been directly impacted by PNW Day of Giving, and they say that word for word in there. They're like, our student organization, Women in Business, I'll shout them out. They're like, we were directly impacted by donors' gifts last Day of Giving, and they're incredibly active in hosting events on campus, and just trying to move women forward in business. And they're a great organization, and they just know that without this donor support that they received on Day of Giving, they couldn't be doing XYZ in the community. And they share with us, they're like, your money goes exactly where you want it to go, whatever you're passionate about, and they want it to be women in business, right? That they were putting it to good use throughout the year for their members, and they have incredible members with conferences, and even just having a meeting, just being able to get together and maybe having some resources at a meeting. But that was one student that we met with who was like, because of Day of Giving, I was impacted. Another student organization, they were able to host Wally on campus, and a lot of that happens because of their success on Day of Giving, and that they're able to share their culture with the community, and it's a community open to the community event because of Day of Giving, that they're able to share that. So those are some small pieces and stories that students have shared with us, that they're like, Day of Giving is amazing for my student organization.
Absolutely. Natalie, how about for you?
I would say, I'm external facing, and I work a lot with local businesses and organizations across the region. And, some of the programmatic support that we get on Day of Giving that helps PNW in the community is just unbelievable. One of the greatest programs that we have is called STEM on the Road. And we have some terrific partners, shout out to BP, that help us really get into the K through 12 schools and showcase what our STEM programs are doing. And the wonderful thing about it is our students are our ambassadors when they do those school visits. And so, they're talking peer to peer with other students about the types of projects and curriculum in the STEM fields that PNW offers. And, having partners like BP is really helpful because we're able to reach more schools in the region and outside of the region to support STEM education. So, I see the impact of the programmatic support, but also I see, some of our best ambassadors for Purdue Northwest, beyond the employees that work there and the faculty, are our students themselves, when they engage in the community, whether they're doing community service or visiting a high school and talking about Purdue Northwest curriculum and how they what their experience is like at Purdue Northwest. So, that 24-hour period of Day of Giving has impact throughout the year. And so that's just one example that I think is really impactful. And it's not just for Purdue Northwest, it's the region.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had stories shared with me, just to give a couple examples. Study abroad is one priority that a lot of the colleges are raising funds for. And there's a lot of students that have maybe never been out of the state of Indiana and they get to go to Italy. And that's life changing. That's eye opening, and that's an experience that they might not have otherwise been able to have. Our food pantry is another example. It's hard to be a student and study if you're hungry. And so helping the students have that means, and even just our scholarships, letting students realize that getting a degree and having that opportunity to learn and grow, that is actually available to them, and helping to support them in that journey. So it makes a big difference, and we see that every day with our students at PNW.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for being able to share a little bit about those anecdotes for the feedback that you hear from students. And I'm sure, likewise, that our generous donors who love to be able to help support gifts for students, that they also feel just as energetic and passionate about helping to make those opportunities, a reality for students. So while we do have just like a few more minutes before we're going to transition to our second segment here, just want to go ahead and just run down one more time. What is the important pieces of info that listeners should know again excuse me, that's in my throat, for April 30th for PNW Day of Giving? Mackenzie, I'm going to go ahead and tee you up one more time.
Same thing, I guess. A gift is a $10 minimum on Day of Giving, but it's also that it can just be a $10 gift. I think sometimes we forget and maybe think I have to give $1 million. If you want to, absolutely, we'll make it happen.
We won't give it
But
away.
yeah, but it's also as simple as something as what I can give. And I promise, and we've had people even call, say, I don't know where to give. And just as Tracy said, we'll find somewhere that there's something that you're passionate about, something that we can figure out, even if we had a quick conversation on the day of a place to give. And I promise your gift will make a direct impact, no matter the size. And I feel like that's the most important thing that you can stress about giving days, is that it's all about coming together at whatever capacity you can. And even if it's engaging on social media with us, posting on social media, that is another way of showcasing your support of PNW and in the community. So that the biggest piece, I would say, is a gift of any size makes a difference on Day of Giving.
Absolutely. Well, and like I said, love to be able to shout out URLs. So DayOfGiving.pnw.edu, that's the website to be able to go and visit. And there's a fun little clock ticker that's on there that is slowly counting down the day.
So you're going to make my hands sweat because I look at it and it's just sitting on my laptop and I'm like 13 days, 48 minutes, whatever it is now.
No kidding, because I know that certainly for your team, you are definitely hard at work on Day of Giving. So I'm not trying to make your heart rate, go up with this. But anyway, again, DayOfGiving.pnw.edu, that's the website to go ahead and visit. And as our cast here has been able to share, there's a plenty of different organizations, funds, efforts, and initiatives that you can support. It's really your gift and your choice for what it is that you feel passionate about, that you would like to help support for our PNW students. Because, as Mackenzie said, your gift really does make a difference when you're looking at the totality of the culmination of all that support, large or small. It really does make such a huge difference for our students.
Absolutely.
So we have just gotten to 8:30 a.m. and we are going to take a very quick break and we're going to bring on a couple of our other guests for the PNW Today program to talk a little bit more about Day of Giving. But just once again, just want to say thank you to Mackenzie, Natalie, and Tracy for taking time this morning to be able to help share some of the basics about Day of Giving. And now we're going to hear a little bit of some more anecdotes and storytelling about donors' impact. So stick around. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the PNW Today program on WJOB and JED TV. Again, it's April 17th, 2025, and we're talking about all things PNW Day of Giving. We've had just a quick swap out for a few guests, so let me just go ahead and go down the line to introduce who is going to be chatting with us. Mackenzie Koval. She was just on the
Say I'm
first
back.
segment. Just to repeat, Mackenzie's our annual fund and donor communications coordinator in our division of institutional advancement. To Mackenzie's right, we have one of our awesome PNW students, not only just students, but student athletes. We got Cooper Olson, who is a third-year mechanical engineering major and one of our PNW men's ice hockey players. Cooper, thank you so much for being able to take time early this morning to come and talk about Day of Giving.
Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.
And then last but not least, we have Amy Hemingway, who is our Development Operations Manager in Institutional Advancement. Amy, thank you so much for, for being
Absolutely.
here on the
Glad to be
radio.
here.
So for the first segment, we just spent a little bit of some time talking about some of the basics about PNW Day of Giving, where it is that donors can go ahead and go online to be able to look at different funds, to be able to support students and gifts for them. And again, because we love shouting out URLs, DayOfGiving.pnw.edu, that is the website to go to. But for this, I wanted to be able to help tee up a segment that talks about, again, some of that impact that donors' gifts are able to have for students at PNW. So I want to go ahead and start out here. We're going to talk about just tee up Mackenzie and Amy first off. I want to be able to ask you to start out our foundational question here. Why do you give in support of PNW students?
Oh, wow. That's true. I do. I give what I can, but I give back because when I was a student, I received a scholarship. Shouting out the Honors College, it's why I support them. That I received a scholarship from them right before COVID is when I graduated, and so I had this opportunity to study abroad, and they helped to fulfill a little bit of my payment. And I'll never forget that Debbie Bachman, she called me about it. Like it was just a huge impact that I felt as a student. And ever since then, I've always wanted to be able to pay it forward in any way that I can. And that we also, as Amy and I and other members of our team, we hear from students and student athletes and student organizations. We hear the needs when they come to us about fundraising. And so you just feel compelled to want to be a part of that and help them. So I think there are multiple reasons why I choose to give back, but just being able to pay it forward is one of them.
Absolutely. And I don't feel like initially I understood the charitable potential of giving back to an institution when I was younger as a student, who again also received a scholarship. And it took working for this institution and realizing all the benefits that these students receive when somebody even gives $25 that contributes to a scholarship or contributes to their program. That realization happened once I was in advancement and saw all the good things and benefits that these students are receiving. So absolutely confirmed it for me, and to the credit now I give back to my institution as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I feel like, if I were to add anything, it would just really just be echoing the sentiments that both of you have shared is that, we can really see some of those tangible and visible impacts that it has for PNW students, whether that's a scholarship that's helping them to be able to make ends meet with some of the basics of their academic requirements. We may not, be able to necessarily visibly see it, of course, for the PNW Food Pantry, but we understand that if we make a gift to the food pantry, it is going towards something that is impactful for students to be able to help them when they're in need. And so being able to help be a part of that it's something that's really special. And to be able to be, making a difference for students, and like we said, changing students' lives starts with us. Cooper, I also, I'll go ahead and tee up the question for you too now. So if you've made a gift in support of your fellow peers at PNW or for PNW Athletics or another fund that you have felt has been meaningful to you, why did you decide that giving was important to you?
I think giving is important. Personally, it's been really fun being around all these guys and the gifts that we're receiving. That was your question, right? Was the
Yeah.
gifts that we get. Overall, it's equipment, facilities. The facilities here at PNW for us athletes are outstanding. The weight room's great. AT room's awesome. Gifts go towards the improvement of all these things, and then obviously equipment that we all recognize, and it's just been huge for us.
Absolutely, yes. Well, and speaking of equipment, it's interesting seeing you outside of the hockey uniform.
Yeah, a little bit smaller.
Kind of like a transformer, you
Yep,
know?
a little bit.
So, let's see, losing my notes here. Give me one sec. So, Mackenzie and Amy, I do want to also be able to ask you, so what are some impactful anecdotes that you have heard from students about the meaningfulness of donors' gifts? So we kind of did touch base on this a little bit during our first segment too, but I do also want to be able to tee this up again about what the feedback is that you have heard from students that you have met.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So oftentimes we are asking our students to write thank you letters that we can pass along to the donors. Again, they don't realize these are just donors that have that affinity for PNW or had such a wonderful experience that want to give back to students nowadays and going forward. So when we get thank you letters from these students, it's so genuine. They are able to explain how beneficial it is and what a surprise it was for them to receive a scholarship or assistance to go on a trip for their student org, like you were mentioning earlier in the other segment. It's impactful. These students are genuinely so honored to receive some assistance financially and the support. And then they tend to speak about how that support really makes them feel valued and that there's somebody looking out after them, wanting them to succeed. So this type of communication just pulls at our hearts, and then we're able to pass it along to our donors who love hearing from the students, love to hear that message, and realize that that's exactly what their intentions were when they donated for some program or for a student or a major, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. Well, and I think, kind of like to tweak the question a little bit. So Mackenzie, you had mentioned before that you have been the recipient of a scholarship. And so when that happened for you, and kind of to Amy's point about there was somebody, whether you knew the person or not, they deep down in their heart they wanted to be able to help make a difference for somebody else, and you were able to be the recipient of part of their philanthropy. So how did that make you feel?
I remember I cried. I actually got the call about it when I was currently studying abroad. And obviously, I couldn't pay for the international phone plan. But I remember listening to a voicemail, and I was just like, because my friends were like, "What is wrong with you right now?" But I remember being like, somebody helped pay for me, like that. Just this feeling of somebody believing in me or wanting to help me financially. I feel like that's a piece to a lot of our students. A lot of our, over 50% are first gen. And we have these conversations with them of like, it's just you supporting you. You don't always have this financial back pocket of family members. So it's a lot of our students, they're doing this on their own. And so I don't think they're used to having somebody throw even a couple of $100s to say, I'm going to help your education of somebody they don't know. That's the biggest piece too. They're like, we don't know these people, and then sometimes they relay those. It's faculty, staff, it's people in the community, it's people that walk around you every day that you don't know them, but that they choose to not only be here to support you, but they support you financially. And sometimes you don't realize it as a student until we start having a little bit more of these conversations about it. but you just have this feeling, and that's what I think a lot of the students share with us, is that somebody I don't even know believes in
Believes,
me.
yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. Believes in the students now.
Believes in the students, believes in what I'm doing, and helps me get a PNW degree. And they don't know who I am. And so a lot of the pieces that students have ever said to us is that they want to pay it forward someday. And I feel like that's the most impactful piece too, right?
Right.
Is that you're creating then this culture of philanthropy, of a student receiving a scholarship, feeling this impact, and they want to pay it forward someday.
Right. Whether it's a $10 gift now or a $25 gift when they start working, and then as that grows, hopefully they're feeling more warm and donating more.
Absolutely. Cooper, I also want to be able to tee up, a similar question for you too. So, as your time here at PNW as a student and as a student athlete, how has it made you feel that there have been donors, again, whether you have met them or never met them before, that have said, I want to be able to help give in support to benefit your success?
It's outstanding. It's humbling a little bit, and just super cool to notice that these people are giving their time and money to help us succeed. I also get scholarship money from the Honors College, so that's another organization that I'm a part of, and that's super special. I don't have a call quite like that experience, but just every semester it helps out a little bit, and it makes a big difference for my financial situation. And I know plenty of other students where it helps a ton, right? This is a big deal for us students, and we also feel so thankful.
Absolutely. Cooper, of course, I want to be able to take a little bit of an opportunity to have you expand a little bit more about your background as a student. So walk us through how you came to be a part of the Purdue Northwest community.
Yeah, absolutely. So graduated high school, I went on to play junior hockey out in Minnesota. You can hear it in the accent that I come from, good old Minnie. And then I got recruited here by Coach Tomzik to PNW University. I came out, did my visit, took a look at campus, gorgeous campus. One thing that really stood out to me was the dorms. Just having my own room was a big standout point for PNW, and very different from other universities that I've seen. And then come out here, go on a trip to Chicago with my mom. It was a whole event. Couldn't pass it up. I was looking for a mechanical engineering degree since my junior year of high school. So just seeing the engineering degree that you get from Purdue, all this and that, I feel like I was coming into a perfect spot for my both academic and athletic success. And so made it here my freshman year, made some great buddies, spent, first couple years here have been just fantastic with my teammates, all of my peers in classes too. One thing that I talk to a lot about my teammates is telling them to, branch out, make a bunch of friends in your classes too. I think in some athletics, outside of PNW, you get kind of stuck with your own team. You get, just your own area. And one big thing that we strive to do with the PNW hockey team is make sure you're making friends in your classes, right? They're going to help you out, and you learn a lot from these other kids too. So the Day of Giving, circling back to that, I think I've learned a lot about how much that impacts the students, and not only my team but also my classroom.
Absolutely. Well, and of course, we did between Mackenzie, Cooper, you've both mentioned Honors College as well. So tell us a little bit about how impactful that experience has been for you too.
Honors College has been fantastic. I was fortunate enough to make it out of high school with a good GPA and get enrolled into the Honors College here at PNW. The Honors College, what we do is we do volunteering and community service around the Hammond area, sometime outreaching other places like the apple orchard over in is it Hobart? And so that's just some things that we do as a group with Honors College, and we receive scholarship for keeping a good GPA and doing well in school. And then also we're able to hold little events here and there. They give back to us for putting in the hard work and volunteering, and little meal here and there, a little study break, just time to get to know other honors students. It's been fantastic, and it's totally a team-like setting where we're all working together for the same goal of making a better community.
And to your point, it's just another support community.
Correct.
So you've got your team, you've got this honors college, student orgs, your classmates. That's wonderful.
Absolutely. It's been fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And of course, speaking of your team, tell us a bit about how meaningful that your ice hockey participation experience has been at PNW. And of course, please be sure to also tell us about the wonderful opportunity that you had just a little bit earlier this calendar year.
Yeah, the PNW hockey team, I've been loving it here. I can't say it enough, just a fantastic group of boys. Coaching staff has been awesome. The experiences that we've had between traveling, great. Just great camaraderie with all the guys, spending time. And we've been a little successful too. I mean, that obviously helps. We've made it to 2 national tournaments in the last 2 years, 2 since I've been here. So that's unheard of for certain, for most teams to be able to make back-to-back national tournament trips down in St. Louis. That's been really cool. And then earlier this winter, I was out in Italy. So I had the opportunity to represent Team USA for the ACHA. And man, that was special. That was really special. If you would have told me that my freshman year that I would have had the opportunity to put on the red, white, and blue and represent the country and go play across seas, I would have said no way. No way that's happening. And man, that was special. Once in a lifetime opportunity and just so cool. Beautiful. It was in Torino, Italy, so it was where the Olympic grounds were. And so the facilities were fantastic. It was outstanding. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to share that.
Yes, of course. And so, as you were mentioning before, donors' gifts have been able to help impact your experiences as a student athlete. So can you share a little bit again or expand on where you have seen donors' gifts and impacts help your team or athletics in general for what you've seen?
Absolutely, yeah. Athletics in general, like I was saying earlier before, weight room, training facilities, I think these are big things that I see on my visits and other student athletes will see on their visits. So that kind of impacts recruitment to start. And then also, apparel, jerseys, equipment, stuff like that is stuff that we get in from the donations, which does make a difference. Obviously, look good, play good. Isn't always the case, but it helps. It helps to look good. And that's something that is huge that's been represented here on campus from the donations. I've seen it with other athletics as well, soccer, softball, baseball, you name it. They're able to get better equipment, better funding for travel, have nicer meals when they're going out, take care of their bodies. This year, one big addition that we had is Norman Tech boots. So a little bit of recovery phase kind of stuff for our athletes here at PNW has been huge, just getting us ready for our next games. We've got tough schedules, a lot of games. We're all coming from high school or juniors where, it's every weekend. And then now at the collegiate level, it's, you're playing 2-3 games a week. And it's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep your body in good condition, especially for hockey being the physical sport. Guys get beat up. And being able to have the equipment and the materials needed to be ready to go for the next game is huge.
Absolutely. And thank you for being able to share a little bit about how donors have been able to impact your experience.
Absolutely.
I do also want to be able to ask, so, as a student athlete, you're a part of honors college, you're balancing a lot. So how do you help hold it all down and keep it stable? Maybe with a cup of coffee here and there, of course. Hopefully, getting enough sleep. But also, as a second part to that, I want to be able to ask for you, why do you feel that being a student athlete has been really impactful for just your experience as a student in compared to if you weren't a student athlete?
Absolutely. Time management. That's all it is. And a cup of coffee here and there, obviously. But time management has been huge. It's been something that I've been able to put on my resume for internships. I've got one coming up this summer with Ozinga Concrete. Super excited for that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So that's something that companies look for, is that time management skill that we're able to showcase as student athletes and honors college too. So I'm able to juggle a lot, but But I tell you what, it's rewarding to be able to do that much. Object in motion stays in motion. I really like being a busy person, and I've been doing it since high school as well. I was in, multiple organizations plus being an athlete. And it's just been, it's really cool. So time management's been huge for me. Developing relationships in the classroom and in my, with my team as well has been huge. Hey man, what's the homework assignment for this week? Wasn't able to make it today. So just being a little bit sociable too and making sure that you're on top of things and, utilize that opportunity that you have at PNW with all these friends and peers.
Excellent.
And
Thank
for
you.
students who aren't quite there at the level that you are with time management, the staff in athletics is wonderful to
Yes.
to shape and bring the students to that point.
Absolutely. Great point there. Great point. The athletes do have a lot of opportunity with tutoring as well, and just overall staff, like you said, that help students navigate what they need to do to be successful both in the classroom and out of it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being able to share so much about your story for PNW, as well as how others have been able to, whether they're here at the university or donors, how they've been able to help impact your experience.
Thank you. My pleasure.
While we still do have just a few minutes left, and like I said, time it flies by pretty fast on the radio here. I do want to be able to ask it for everyone that's here. What messages are you sharing with donors at this time to encourage them to consider making a gift in support of PNW students? We'll just go down the line. Mackenzie, I'm going to tee you up first.
I was going to say, there's a lot in the queue right now to be doing that for us. Of course, that big, the big theme and what we're including in a lot of these pieces, and that we see it right here next to us, is that changing students' lives starts with us. And it's not just faculty, staff. It's not just the work we do every day. It's also community members, advisory boards, alumni, your friends, your family. When I'm asking, because I do ask friends and family to give, I just say, hey, can you? This is the university that I went to. They helped me. Some of my friends are alumni, so you need to remember to give on that day. But it's kind of just as simple as that, of saying, we can you just please make an impact with me? Together we can make an impact of whatever you can. So there have been some text messages that will be going out and some other emails, and then also some fun mass pieces that you will receive from our office. So please read them. Please read and open those emails and the mails that you're getting from us. But that big piece is just that we can change students' lives. We can change the region. We can change for the better. And so that's kind of the messaging that you're going to see a lot from our office, and maybe personally from from me on the day of.
Absolutely. Cooper, how about for you? What messages are you sharing with donors as we gear up for Day of Giving?
Yeah, absolutely. Like that, I'll be sending a lot of texts out as well and the emails and whatnot. So you guys will be hearing from me as well, family, friends, coworkers now. Whoop, whoop. But yeah, your guys' impact goes a long way, more than you might think. It's even a little bit goes a long way, making our students, all of us, me as a student, our lives, for the better. So it gives us an opportunity to do big things here at PNW and be successful and not have to worry about certain financial problems that, I'm very fortunate to not have. So please think about it, and you might be hearing from me.
I wanted to mention that this Day of Giving is Purdue institution-wide. So our colleagues and friends at the other campuses also are doing that. However, donations that support PNW stay here at PNW. When you go to Day of Giving, if you're looking for the website and you stumble on the other institutions, consider finding ours for PNW so that the funding stays up here to support our students right here.
Got it. And because we always love to be able to shout out those URLs, DayOfGiving.pnw.edu. Just remember that PNW.edu. That's the website to be able to go to find out all the information of all the different funds that can be supported on Day of Giving, including if somebody wants to make a gift to ice hockey or honors college.
There you go. There you
Like
go.
we said, we're trying not to play too many favorites here,
Right,
but
you
we love to be able
can't,
to
but-
shout out our different friends at the university, of
Oh, yeah.
course. So, and I think just really to just kind of help cap it off, I think all of you have put it really well. And if I had to add anything, it would just be to say that, for any donors that are interested in considering supporting PNW students, again, your gift does go a long way. I think kind of borrowing some words from our friend Leslie Plezak, no gift is too small, but no gift is also too large, as she likes to joke during our PNW Sinai Forum programs.
At which you can also support PNW Sinai programs.
That's
and
true.
I'm shouting out Gabus Arboretum as well, just because they're two other areas that are so important at PNW.
Mm-hmm.
May not be fully student facing, but they're a part of the PNW community, so we would love to shout them out as well.
Absolutely. Well, this has been the PNW Today program for April 17th, 2025. Again, we were talking about all things Day of Giving. Just one more time, as that sounding too much like a broken record, DayOfGiving.pnw.edu. Wednesday, April 30th, 2025. You can start even at 11 p.m. the day before.
Yes.
And help make a difference for PNW students. Again, your gift can help go a long way. So big thank you again to Mackenzie, Cooper, and Amy for joining for our second segment here. That's going to do it for today. And we will see you back again in early May as we gear up for spring commencement, where we'll highlight a few of our graduating students. Always one of our greatest shows. And one more good shout out, as always, Adriana Alvarez, always holding it down so well for us in studio. Shout out Communication and Creative Arts at PNW as well for the great students. So, all right, take care. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time on PNW Today.